From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, October the 1st, 2024. We open with the massive attack launched today at Israel by Iran. The Islamic Republic fired some 180 ballistic missiles at the country, sirens sounding across Israel, sending an estimated 10 million civilians to bomb shelters and safe rooms. As the IDF aerial defense intercepted, it said, the majority of the missiles. Some minor injuries from shrapnel were reported by Magen David Adom in Tel Aviv. Earlier today, the IDF had updated its home front command guidelines amid the reported threats of an Iranian attack, putting some restrictions and protective measures in place. Following a situation assessment by the IDF's top command later tonight, Israelis were told that they could leave the protected areas but should remain alert and continue to follow the directives. U.S. President Joe Biden said this morning that he and Vice President Kamala Harris convened, he said, our national security team to discuss Iranian plans to launch an imminent missile attack against Israel. He said, we discussed how the United States is prepared to help Israel defend against these attacks and protect American personnel in the region. And just shortly before the Iranian attack on Israel, terrorists opened fire in the central Israeli city of Jaffa. A reported 6 people were killed in the terror attack and 9 others wounded. Surveillance images show 2 terrorists coming off of the Tel Aviv light rail, one of whom is seen armed with an assault rifle. The other reportedly was also armed with a knife. They are said to have attacked people on the light rail as well as after they got off on Jerusalem Street, a main thoroughfare in Jaffa. The 2 terrorists were neutralized at the scene. The IDF last night sent ground forces into Lebanon for what is being called a limited, localized, and targeted operation. The IDF said these ground ops were based on precise intelligence against Hezbollah terrorist targets and infrastructure in southern Lebanon, located in villages along the border that pose an immediate threat to Israeli communities in northern Israel, saying the IDF is doing everything necessary to defend the citizens of Israel and return the citizens of northern Israel to their homes. Some 60,000 Israelis have had to evacuate their homes since Hezbollah began attacking Israel on October the 8th, the day after the October 7th Hamas massacre on the south. The IDF also shared previously classified information today that several operations have been conducted in Lebanon since the beginning of the war to neutralize and destroy Hezbollah's ability to carry out its own October 7th-like attack on northern Israel. IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari had more.
For years, Hezbollah has been planning to do in northern Israel what Hamas did in southern Israel on October 7th. Invade Israel, infiltrate civilian communities, and massacre innocent civilians. To make sure that Hezbollah can never carry out such an attack, and in order to enable all 60,000 Israelis to safely return back to their homes in northern Israel, the IDF is taking action. Hezbollah planned to launch their October 7th attack from villages across southern Lebanon, where they have been building up their arms capabilities and forces for the last 2 decades. Hezbollah also dug tunnels under homes in these villages close to the border with Israel.
Hagari also shared video from some of the IDF operations in Lebanese villages near the border on homes and structures that were to be used as preparation areas for the planned attack by Hezbollah, including tunnels and combat trenches stocked with weapons, ultimately destroyed by the IDF. Hagari also revealed a map that was found in one of the operations that Hezbollah planned to give its terrorists at the time of its planned attack.
As you can see on the map, there is a key marking Israeli communities, IDF posts, access roads, and targets for attack.
Hagari stressed that the IDF has warned for years that Hezbollah is violating international law, as well as a UN Security Council resolution that prohibits the terror group's presence in southern Lebanon. Hagari saying no country would agree to the presence of a murderous terrorist organization along its border. He also said that the IDF was continuing to operate in Gaza against terror group Hamas to bring home the 101 hostages still being held in captivity in Gaza now for 361 days. Well, dozens of rockets bombarded northern Israel earlier today, with the IDF responding, hitting Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Missiles were also fired earlier today several times from Lebanon at central Israel, the IDF saying they fell in open areas. The IDF responded to the attacks targeting Hezbollah, including, it said today, eliminating the commander of the unit for the transfer of weapons from Iran and its affiliates to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Well, the Jewish New Year begins tomorrow evening, and as always, we will bring you Rosh Hashanah services here on JBS, beginning tomorrow, Wednesday evening, October the 2nd, through Friday, October the 4th, from the Hampton Synagogue and from Central Synagogue. You can find more information and the exact schedule on our website, jbstv.org. We will also bring you special presentations of our late founder, Rabbi Mark S. Golub's sermons for the high holidays, honoring his legacy. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, October the 1st. At 7 o'clock, ISGAP leaders Charles Asher Small and David Harris speak with Professors Sunni Ali, Ansel Brown, and Hannibal Hamdallahi about countering racism and antisemitism today. At 8, Justin Pine speaks with Dr. Alan Morinis, a leading figure in the contemporary revival of the Mussar movement, to share his personal journey and his reflections on Rosh Hashanah. At 9, Rabbis Marcelo Cormus, Lauren Gerbel Herman, and Chaim Steinmetz discuss the themes they believe are important to address in high holiday sermons. At 10:30, it's an encore of the news, and coming up next, it's the ILTV's Insider. I will be back with the news after Rosh Hashanah on Monday, October the 7th, where we will have special programming marking the tragic anniversary. I'm Teisha Bader, wishing you a Shana Tova Umetuka, a sweet and healthy new year. May we see the return of the hostages and have safety, security, and peace. Am Yisrael Chai.